Okay, next on the list is the spotlight, and the spotlight is probably the most complicated of the lamps in all the controls we have for it. But let's have a look at it again. Okay, so what we have with the spot lamp, we have our light source in the center, and just like a spotlight in a theater or a stadium or whatever, that you can imagine a reflector behind it which is pushing all the light out in one direction, and this is represented by this cone. Okay, now like the other lamp types, it does have the thin grey line, so you can see where it is on the grid, as well as the actual direction of the lamp. Okay, so we have quite a few settings here for spot lamp. The top section is the same as always. We can set the light color, the energy, the fall off type, which I always recommend leaving in best square, fall off distance, etc. That's all exactly the same. Okay, and we can come down to shadow, and once again we've got buffer shadow and ray shadow. Buffer shadow is quicker. We've got this layer only and to cast only shadows, but we've got certain buffer types. Now the difference between these buffer types is kind of minimal, and to be honest, most of the time I will use ray shadow. Okay, the one time where buffer does come in handy is at this auto clip. Okay, so let me just position my lamp somewhere so we can kind of get a an idea of what this is doing. Okay, and I'm going to position my lamp kind of halfway over the monkey. Okay, maybe 3/4 of the way over. Okay, so we've got this lamp positioned, and let me just decrease the distance of the lamp, because I want to show you that the distance of the lamp is how far the cone extends from the lamp source. Okay, so let me just do a render here. F12. Okay, we can see where our lamp is casting the shadows. It's cut off the top of the face, which is the way I had kind of set it up to show this. Very directional light, and you know, we've got this soft edge as well. Okay, so what the auto clip does, if we look at our lamp, we can see we've got this kind of central line with a start, and probably see it underneath somewhere. The end to it extends way past the cone. Okay, but this is the point at which shadows will start and stop to be formed. So if I was to increase the auto clip, you can see that moving. So if I was to kind of clip it there, okay, and we were to render this again, you see it's cutting more of the kind of the ears and that off. What that is doing is it's only casting the shadows between this line here and what would be this end line. If I bring this right up there, you can kind of see. So if I was to bring this just past there and do another render, you can see it's got a very narrow kind of band where the light is casting normally. Okay, this doesn't demonstrate too well on this model, but you can kind of get the idea of where how it's working. So let me just increase these some, so near the end. So let me just again, and we've got this now. Let me once again, let me illuminate the whole model. Okay, and if we render that, we can see we are getting I've cut out that ear a bit, so let me go. You can see where I cut the ear off there, so let me rotate that, And you can see if we're looking this way, the back or the right hand side of the model is going to be very dark because there's no light back there. The light is coming directly in from this way. So render that, and we've got the ear in. So we've got all these settings to play with, okay, to get what we want. So let's go back to kind of this view. Spot shape. Now the size of the spot, it says the size, but it's actually an angle, is the angle that the light leaves from the source. So it'd be this angle here. If I was to increase this quite a bit, you can see how the spot, so we could get a very tight directional light such as there, okay, just illuminating that part. Or we can increase the angle, get a very wide kind of illumination, and you can see where it's illuminating right back on the plane back here. Okay, so that's the angle. The blend, I believe, should be the amount that this gradient, it's fairly evenly lit throughout the middle and it falls up towards the edge of the cone, so the blend should affect that, I believe. So let me just increase this blend up to, well, let's go all the way up to 1 and render that. You can see now where we got this very gradual kind of gradient coming in, whereas if I bring the blend down to somewhere about there and re-render this, it's got this very sharp fall off. Okay, now our spot can also be square. Okay, so the light it casts can be square. Let me make this easier to see. Let me reduce the angle on the size so this is in the frame. So, and let me render that. You can see we're now getting more of a square light cast rather than a round one. Show cone is doing nothing on the render, but what it is doing is kind of showing a lit area on your 3D view, so you can see what's going on there. And halo will have something to do with the render. So to demonstrate the halo, let me turn the show cone off and let me turn the square off actually. Okay, so let me go into this view. Let's decrease the size. Let me move this down a bit, rotate it slightly, check the other view, and that's looking okay. Okay, so if we render that, we got this kind of very hard place again. If we show cone, what it should do is kind of give like a, not show cone, halo, sorry. If we use a halo, what it should do is give this kind of lighthouse effect where you could see the light beam come in. So if we do that, you see what I mean there. You've got this light beam that illuminates everything kind of in the path of the direction of light travel. Unless you were doing something like a lighthouse or beams of light flooding through a window or something like that, that's about the only time I would use that. And that is the basic functions of the spotlight.